Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
Okay, it's rolling. Okay, all right. I think that was a little loud.
That was pretty loud.
That was a little loud.
That a little loud.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk Nerdy to Me podcast official. I got this motherfucker Rob. We finally linked back up and shit. We are back to just do our random retardedness and shit. Been out the game for a minute, but you know how it is. We make excuses, but we always come through in the end.
We're like herpes. We always come back when you least expect us, baby.
Boom. Hit him with the hezzy. Hit him with the hezzy. Like, as soon as you think you out the woods, here we come.
Yeah. Outbreak City, baby. The bumps is back. We just compared ourselves to herpes in the first minute. Like, that's where we're going with this podcast already. Now, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sounds about right to be
I'm
honest.
a dull down, dirty motherfucker anyway. Don't matter to me.
Nope.
How's that 2016 going on?
Man, a lot better than 2015. Let's be honest with you. 2015 really sucks. But one thing, man, I was telling somebody else. I feel like 2016 was supposed to be our fucking year, dude. It was supposed to be the year of the geek, the year of the fucking nerd. First fucking thing that happens, we lose David Bowie, we lose Alan Rickman. Yeah. I feel like 2016 fucking catfish us. Donald Trump is still alive. Yeah, much respect to Bowie and fucking Rickman.
Rest in peace.
And Lemmy from Motorhead as well, for all my rock cats out there. It's been a rough fucking couple weeks for us, man. 2016 can suck it.
Bowie and what's his name that died? The other cat, Rickman.
Yeah.
Didn't they both die of cancer?
Both died. All three of them died of cancer. I believe.
All three of cancer. Yeah.
Ironically,
fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer. Rickman and Bowie were 69. Dude from Motorhead just turned fucking 70 3 days prior.
And Rickman was 69 too.
Yeah.
So two 69ers went out and a 73. At least they lived some decent lives.
Yeah,
you know?
but we have Donald Trump still alive and he's 69. So, you know,
right.
Thanks God.
Damn, he's 69?
Yeah, checkmate Christians. Atheist wins this one. Yeah, Donald Trump is 60 motherfucking 9. He's still alive.
Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. No love for Trump.
None.
Talk Nerdy to Me podcast.
None. You ain't gonna find that. So if you're a Trump supporter, just go ahead and unsubscribe now. We ain't got time to fuck with you.
Have you had a chance to watch that fucking Star Wars Rebels trailer for the mid-season 2? You still watch Star Wars Rebels?
Yeah, you hit me up yesterday. I just saw that this morning.
And you ignored me. You was egging me like a motherfucker.
I would love to say I was getting my dick sucked or something amazing. Just fucking around on Facebook. Masturbating and crying.
I don't want to perp, though.
Yeah, I don't want to perp. The only perp we got is what we smoking right now. But no, I haven't seen it. I'm actually still behind on season 2 completely. I haven't even started it yet.
You didn't get caught up.
I don't have Disney XD. I'll have to watch it on some bootleg channels and shit, unfortunately. Wow Cable charges you extra for that shit.
Really?
Rat bastards, yeah.
Oh, damn, they do you dirty on the cartoons.
That shit too, so me and the kids will be scrolling. I'm like, oh, this movie's on, this show's on. Oh wait, I gotta pay an extra $12 a month. Fuck that, I'll support that.
Where did you leave off at?
Actually, I still got the season finale of 1 to finish. Because I was watching them all on my Apple account, and then I found a free site for it. I'm like, I ain't paying it.
Did you see the Siege of Lothal shit or whatever with Darth Vader and all that?
No, not yet.
Oh, you didn't see that?
I'm behind on some good shit. I know.
I might have to put together like a DVD for you or something, man. Because you need to get this new trailer. It shows so much promise for the second season. Star Wars Rebels, I find, gets a lot of criticism from the internet fanboys these days because they feel like it's Clone Wars 2.0 without the main writer dude that made Clone Wars so fucking tight or whatever. And I find that kind of inconsistent because the same people who hate on Rebels for being Clone Wars 2.0 embrace Star Wars The Force Awakens for being New Hope 2.0 and shit.
Yeah.
So it kind of folks in my head, but I personally really thoroughly enjoy Rebels. No, it's not anywhere as near as good as Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Clone Wars stands alone in the Star Wars mythos in my mind, kind of like the Knights of the Old Republic, 2 of the best incarnations of Star Wars storytelling ever possibly imagined. Which Knight of the Old Republic is not Knight of the Old Republic is not canon anymore, but still one of the greatest stories. But Rebels, man, oh my God, this new trailer they showed Ezra with the
Green Kylo Ren lightsaber.
The green Kylo lightsaber. They showed Ahsoka battling Darth Vader, her finally finding out his fate and shit.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They show Ezra basically getting tempted by the dark side, like heavy It's basically, the trailer really accentuates and focuses on basically the second half of the season being really centered around the Jedi portion of Star Wars Rebels and shit. Because then, like, the first half of the second season, to me, I thought really had pacing issues. You know, they focus a lot of shit that is going on. Kind of like, same thing that I did with Clone Wars. Like, I was really into Clone Wars when it first started, but I really was only into it for the Jedi stuff. The whole Clone War arc that was going on in the background was kind of like, man, and it didn't really get interesting until like the third season to me. And it's kind of like, no, I won't say third season, like midway sixth, almost the same point as Rebels, like mid second season. I'm like, okay, now that the Clone War story is getting dope and shit too, and that's what made it dope. Kind of the same thing with Rebels, it's getting to that point for me.
Yeah, Rebels, I think, what really surprised me is I think a lot of the haters need to take a step back, and this is what Disney is doing with it, and I think it's a lot better than a lot of us thought it would be. I mean, we could draw a lot of...
Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me.
I don't know what the fuck just happened there. We had some technical difficulties.
we don't know what the fuck. All of a sudden, you got wacky...
You're going to hear some skipping the audio, because we was like over here rambling.
There's a madhouse in here right now. We don't know what the fuck is going on. We're sitting here talking, we're having a good fucking time, and all of a sudden, chaos. But we're back, and what we were going to bring up was Rebels is so fucking good, and you can bring up a lot of connections between the fact that Ezra kind of comes off as a Jedi goddamn Aladdin, and that kind of has a Disney feel to it. He's a street rat, he's on the goddamn streets, but he has that suave, and Geek Master even brought the kind of fact that he sounds like Aladdin, looks like Aladdin rather.
I'm pissed off because my joke about Agrabah got left out.
I know,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that shit, on a roll, goddamn
that shit was funny.
Yes. Now we're here just trying to recreate the magic. You know what I'm saying?
Like, not trying to recreate the magic and shit.
We have failed this podcast. Goddamn technology.
Nah, but we're not going too far back into it. Like, I was just explaining to my dude about this trailer, man, and how excited it's got me for the second half of Rebels going forward. You know what I mean? With the Ahsoka Vader showdown, you know, showing what's going on with her. Like I said, that's pretty epic to me with her showdown with him. Finding out that her master turned to the dark side.
Yes.
And, you know, Ezra getting a pep talk from Yoda. You know,
Darth Maul apparently. And I haven't seen the trailer. He's blowing my mind with this shit right now.
Darth motherfucking Maul.
Yes.
For y'all that don't know, that's the motherfucker with the horns coming out of
shit. Yes. And that's why I really love the animated series, because they gave us shit that the movies couldn't. We wanted Darth Maul back. We didn't get that shit already. I know, we're looking at it now like, better not stop on this goddamn computer. Like, we're afraid to talk and shit now. That fucked with us.
No, it was like we all thought he was dead after the prequel.
Yeah.
Like, he got cut in half.
No, I mean, we had a lot of us had our theories like he was going to come back with robot legs right off the grip. I don't know about you.
I thought he was done.
I thought he was going to be prototype Darth Maul since day one. Like, oh, he's coming back. There ain't no way you're going to kill off somebody that cool. Womp.
Yeah, I thought he was done for and shit. Like,
I remember
as soon as I seen it in the theater and I saw it, I was like, when I first saw the soundtrack for real made that battle.
Of Duel of the Fates?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Star Wars scores ever of all time and shit, man.
Say what you will about the prequels, best music in the entire Star Wars saga to this day.
I think we kind of have a consensus on this as far as the prequels go, that the prequels really, like, they have a lot wrong with them, as do all the Star Wars movies. But I still can watch them. You know what I mean? They're not, like, unwatchable movies and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Phantom Menace is a very good movie. People are just mad it's not very great.
Right.
Attack of the Clones, I think George Lucas got the most the most hate that any human being could ever get, ever. And think about what that does on your conscience, you know what I mean? Like, say if we do the podcast right now and we put that shit out, and then the entire planet tells about how we raped their childhood and we're so fucking horrible and bad, and then we have to come back and do another episode. Yeah.
Have you watched the original trilogy, bro? There's all kind of special effects blunders.
Yeah. Incest, love triangles and shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Say what you will about the prequels, Anakin wasn't trying to fuck his mom, okay? And there's a lot of weird shit when you really start unveiling the trilogy that doesn't hold up the test of time. But, I'm a prequel fan. I think Revenge of the Sith, to this day, is still the best Star Wars movie.
I had this conversation with a friend last night who agreed with us wholeheartedly when I was like, I frequently make the argument that Revenge of the Sith is the best movie. Because when it comes to Star Wars, for me, I basically rate the movies on lightsaber duels. which is why usually for the original trilogy, I say Return of the Jedi is the better movie and shit because, you know, story-wise, I kind of get some of the same things from Empire Strikes Back, other than the fact that the bad guys win, which is really the main fact that everybody loves about Empire Strikes Back, is that, you know, Han Solo gets captured, Luke gets defeated, it seems like everything is in fucked up disarray and everything, and that's why everybody says Empire Strikes Back is the best. But for me, like, when I rank these movies, it always comes down to the Jedi content to me. You know what I mean? Because that's what I really like Star Wars for. I can really give a damn about the Empire politics.
Yes.
Because that's too much like real life and shit. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's about the Force. What's going on between the Jedi and the Sith.
And that's why the Clone Wars era and the prequels eras are my personal favorite right now, is because it was the golden age of the fucking Jedi. You had hundreds of Jedi running around. You had the temple going on. You had the council going on. You had the Padawan master thing, and that was a new dynamic that we never had before. Like, it was the Jedis in their prime. And so I'm co-signing that like a motherfucker, because that's everything that we love about Star Wars, and that was this whole shtick. In the original trilogy, you had one really, really old fucking Jedi who died in the first movie, a little whiny, you know, dude going through puberty, learning and shit, you know what I mean? And then, you know, Yoda, and that was it. You know, this we got to see Jedi in their prime.
And Vader's the most iconic Sith Lord because, you know, he's the one everybody knows. He's the one that got the ball rolling for Sith Lords and shit. But as far as Sith Lords go, he's really not even the best Sith Lord that there ever was. Like, if he wouldn't have fucked up and got his ass whooped on Mustafar by Obi-Wan, he could have been dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could have been dope.
Yeah.
You know? That ass whooping you took on Mustafar fucked your destiny up.
Keeping it real really went wrong for you, bruh.
Like, you got don't underestimate my power. Don't try it, dude.
Yes.
Don't do it.
And there, I hate that line. Don't underestimate my power. We went from Darth Vader going, you don't understand the power of the dark side of that shit. But yeah.
That was their attempt at that.
I know.
That was their attempt.
Keyword attempt. Yeah. But no, that aside, yeah. Anakin done fucked the shit up, and now you're half a man. You know, walking around with an iron lung and a fucking piss catheter.
You can't use your full potential in the Force because of it and shit. That's old canon and shit. Who knows if they'll try to carry that theme into the new Disney. But in the old EU and shit, the reason why he was the most powerful, like, born from the Force.
Son of the Force.
He's supposed to be like Jesus Christ of the Force and shit. And that was what made his story so tragic, is that he fell to the dark side and will never be able to realize his true potential and shit because he got half his body fucking eviscerated and shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, fucking, like I said, I put Revenge of the Sith number one in all those movies because of it's basically like, I think it's like 15, 20 minutes worth of lightsaber battles in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's got the most lightsaber shit, and it's got the best lightsaber duel out of any of the fucking movies.
Now, it could, arguably, you know, to be fair, it also has the worst one ever, which is Count Dooku versus Anakin.
Why do you think that's the worst?
Oh, because there's one scene where it's 10 minutes of just them showing their face, and you see lights going around them like they're in a fucking rave, tripping off Molly and shit. You don't even see the lightsaber or them hitting the battle, and you just see their face and light going around. Absolute horrible direction there. Yeah, absolute horrible.
Yeah.
That battle side, but then you also got the best. You have the Duel of the Fates battle and the Battle of the Heroes in Phantom Menace and Sith, respectively.
You're talking about an Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I'm talking about Revenge of the Sith, man.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the prequels as a whole. Okay,
no, I was talking about the Revenge of the Sith. The lightsaber battles just in Revenge of the Sith. Was like almost 20 minutes worth of lightsaber battles.
And the best of all time, and I don't even know if
the first Dooku. I said Goku.
The
first Dooku, fucking man, that shit was whack. Even with, I mean,
I actually like the Yoda battle.
I enjoyed the Yoda battle myself, but it should have went a completely different way. Like, once again, talking with my friend, we were talking about how funny it was that they tried to do the lightsaber thing, and Dooku was like, you know what, we can't settle this with lightsaber skills. We have to settle this with our knowledge of the Force. Mm-hmm. He tries to throw the lightning at him. My dude Yoda's like, block that, bro.
Right.
And then he tries to drop the roof for him, and he's like,
miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with that bullshit.
And he's like, that all you got, pal? Like, that shit was epic to me, man.
And the fact when
the whole theater went nuts.
The lightning thing, when he didn't like just bounce it off like he did at one point, but at the other point he absorbed it.
Yeah,
he just like crushed it into nothing. Like, you ain't shit.
You still got shit to learn, my Padawan. You still got shit to learn, apparently.
Dooku threw his heart in that shit too.
Yeah, he did. He said,
Yoda just crumpled that shit up like it wasn't nothing. Like, miss me with that. Bullshit, you shall miss me with. Shit, you are not.
Yes. God damn. You do some fucking impressions, man. You do some damn good impressions.
Weed I am on.
That shit be having me cracking up. But yeah, moving on from that, I guess we just get into the Force Awakens, get that shit out of the way.
We might as well. That's a nice little segue.
Every day weed smoke.
I just come right off rip, letting everybody know I'm still on my old man cash and shit. Like, I enjoyed the movie, entertaining for what it is, but when I get to a critical analysis mind state of it, I find a lot wrong with it. And I've seen it now about 10 times. You know what I mean? So I
how many times in theaters, though, to be fair?
I've only seen it once in theaters.
Okay. In 3D now. Right,
no,
correct?
Well, the visual effects it doesn't, like, I give the visual effects fucking magnificent. They're the best that money can buy. You know what I mean? Disney spared no expense on their visual effects. So seeing it in 3D would make it like, whoa, wait.
I just bring that up because
it's not going to fucking improve the story.
You'd be surprised. I'm going to put a pin in it for now. I'm going to let you go on your little diatribe of hate and fucking anti-Star Wars Hitler shit.
I've said it enough to I can summarize it pretty fucking quick and shit. You know what I mean? Like the reboot, like I love things about reboots, okay? It was a New Hope reboot, New Hope 2.0 and shit. My thing about reboots, because that's really what all this Hollywood culture is, they take old ideas and they try to rehash them and make it into something new. Okay, I'm with that. They do the same thing in comics with, the Secret Wars thing, et cetera, things along those lines where they try to reuse old storylines and shit. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when you use these stories and you don't add something new to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Force Awakens took this story and they added some new elements to the story, as in new characters and, a new direction for the franchise to go in, but they didn't add anything to the actual reboot. They did a lot of mainstream shit that, like my theme I came up with was they went commercial over creativity. You know how they went creativity over continuity in DC. They went commercial and shit. Like, they went a lot of mainstream ideas. They left a lot of ambiguity in the movie. Like, there was too much left up in the air for interpretation. I kind of dig the writing direction they went. Like, some shit was needed to be mysterious. Like, I understand that. But there's a lot of shit that's really unexplained and that it's left up to the fan to try to argue about it on the internet to try to figure it out, such as Rey knowing how to fly a Millennium Falcon, pilot it like an expert pilot, even though she's never flown a fucking starship in her life.
How do you know that?
Because she's been stuck on Jakku the entire time. You see that from the flashback. She's been stranded on this planet for her entire life, and she's a glorified garbage picker.
What does it mean that
she's been waiting there for her family.
She might have been flying around ships in her downtime.
Where? And if she knew that, then she would have more
information. She lived in a ship graveyard. She lived in a broken down ship.
collecting
junky ass
junk parts that she don't even know if they.
So why wouldn't she know how to drive the junkiest ship in the galaxy?
Because
you know what I mean?
That's like saying, I go and pick parts from the military junkyard of jet planes, and then I can jump in an F-22 Raptor and fly that bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work like that. And I have a problem with it because of the simple fact that it's a feministic drive that was driving that kind of thing. It's trying to give women empowerment. Like, I have nothing against women empowerment or nothing that's like that. I think it does women a disservice to put a movie out there depicting a woman who is able to be like basically Wonder Woman and do all these different things without having earned it or having any explanation as to how she knows how to do it. If they would have just explained it like, okay, yeah, she used to do pod racing or something while she's on Jakku, you would be able to say, okay, she's a pod racer, so she has some fundamental understanding of maneuverability and things like that.
Or a throwaway line like in like A New Hope, like how can Luke shoot in the fucking shaft of the Death Star? You throw those the throwaway line. We used to shoot womp rats back home.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, some way. So
but that might be tied into her backstory that we might get later. Yeah, like, some of my grievances. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And I understand that shit as well. But it's also like, okay, if she used to be, like, a lot of theories go around that she used to be a Padawan of Luke's as well before she got dropped off. That's why she was able to use the Jedi mind trick and all this other stuff when Kylo was fucking around in her head. Okay, well, this happened on this planet before she met Kylo. She had he wasn't messing with her head, so she still had her mind wipe in place. So she wouldn't have any knowledge of piloting skills if she had any, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If she wouldn't have any knowledge of Jedi mind tricks, if she did, she would be using them to get more portions for her parts instead of just going up there and taking two little pieces and shit. You know what I mean? There was the whole race shit just really fucking got to me and shit. And then, like, the things about the movie that I really enjoyed are the things that people hated. Which Kylo Ren I thought was like the best part of the movie and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they say he's whiny, he's piece of shit villain. You know, he temper tantrums, this, that, and other. And I love the depiction of the character because I felt like they showed his instability, you know, his chaotic emotional stance, you know, him struggling between the light and the dark. You know, Darth Vader was throwing temper tantrums all the time, choking his fucking people on fucking the command platforms. Like, he killed like 2-3 cats.
Not only that,
you know
it's so fucking generational because bastard. Luke was a whiny little bastard. It runs in the family.
It's a genetics.
Yes.
You know?
But Kylo Ren really fucked shit up. Like when Anakin was whining, we all got annoyed. Luke, he wanted to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. Kylo Ren,
God, you do that shit so well.
he fucked that computer up with that lightsaber. Like, you got some news you didn't like. You thought about it for a second.
Is there anything else?
Like a G. Like
it made that shit funny as hell. Like, you're sitting here like, damn, he just fucked up the control room. Somebody got paid for that. Then he turns around like,
Stone Cold, too.
You got anything else y'all want to tell me? They're like, nah, bro.
I threw my panties at the screen there. I said, ooh, Kylo. With your fine ass.
Yes, man. You got me over here busting nerd guys and shit. Like, I love that shit. But
so if you're going to make him whiny, I mean, he's the coolest one out of it. If you want to compare him to Anakin episode 1 and 2, even kind of 3. Luke, all the way across the board, was whiny until he got the Jedi, and then all of a sudden he was a badass. This made sense, and I liked him.
I continuously made the argument that Kylo is going to be 100. That this trilogy is going to be my favorite trilogy.
Yeah, I got
when
that
it's all said and done and shit.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad they got this reboot shit out of the way. You know, and as much as Kylo was one of my favorite parts of the movie, he also contributed to some of the inconsistencies that made me really, like, shake my head towards the end of the movie and shit. Like, when, at the very beginning of the movie, they show Kylo Ren able to stop a blaster bolt by Poe Dameron, who fires at him, and he doesn't even know he's there.
Well, real quick, one of the coolest scenes in Star Wars history. Let's just coming out the gate because we've never seen that like that.
One of the that's what I'm saying. Right off rip, they show you how dope this dude is and shit. Like, he's sitting here doing this, and then dude shoots and he just turns around, woo! And then while the shit's frozen, he's doing his mind reading thing. He's walking around. The blaster bolt is still just sitting there.
Yeah,
he's holding that bitch there.
Yeah,
with the Force. Okay, so that's dope as fuck. But at the end, he kills. Chewie goes, and shoots him with his fucking bowcaster. He doesn't freeze that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Here's why.
There's no distraction. Like, he was in the same. It was almost the same exact situation.
I disagree, but ain't
almost
there?
the same exact situation.
Why. One, we don't really know. Fucking, please correct me if I'm wrong. I want to know this myself, but we don't have a confirmed age on Kylo Ren. I'm placing him around the same age that Luke probably was in A New Hope.
No, they haven't given him a confirmed age. I mean, the actor is like in his early mid-20s or shit.
Yeah, I'm placing him anywhere. I'm saying 19.
He's a teenager.
I'm saying 19. Like Luke was and Anakin kind of was in Attack of the Clones. So I'm placing him in that.
Like 18, 19.
Yeah. Place him around that kind of age bracket. So you got that. So he's still in that young age. He's not done training because Snoke said we got to finish his training. So he's not quite there yet. But here's the big one for me, and this is something we haven't really seen before, was he's a Darksider. He's not a Sith, but he's a Darksider. You know what I mean? But he's conflicted. He has the light in him. And I thought that was really cool because people be tempted by the dark side. We never really saw a Darksider be tempted by the light. So I think his connection to the dark side is skewed because he does kind of have that light in him. So his power sets are fluctuating like a motherfucker. One moment he's strong in the dark side. He don't give a fuck. He's holding blaster bolts like a motherfucker. But when he killed his dad, even though that was to go to the dark side, you know that hurt him. His powers are inconsistent now because he still feels that light in him. His son touched his face and he wasn't expecting that shit.
Why do you feel stopping a blaster bolt is a dark side power?
I think it was just, it might not be dark side per se, but he was so strong with the Force at that time because he uses the dark side. You know what I mean? Because that's where he pulls from. He doesn't pull from the light. And I think when he killed his father,
he just consecrated his transformation to the dark side, which means he should be the most powerful he is in the dark side.
But how do we know?
Hey, listen.
Get nerdy with me.
How do we know that he...
Okay, it's the fucking third time is the goddamn charm. The computer has some shit it apparently had to do. It decided to update in the middle of my fucking podcast and shut the shit down. But we're back, and we're back on topic. We still got some time. We're gonna chop this up.
Absolutely.
Like I was saying, like you were saying about the Kylo Ren theory.
All right, Kylo Ren theory. You know what my Kylo Ren theory is. All right. So he uses the Force, but he pulls from the dark side. And he's conflicted. And your counterpoint to what I was saying was, well, let's go ahead and just retouch back on what I was saying. And the fact of the matter was that Kylo Ren, very strong, thank you, sir, Brewski, very strong with the motherfucking Force, but he pulls from the dark side. And we saw him be a badass, you know, freezing shit, pulling fucking memories from people's mind. Yeah, he has a strong power set. If not, maybe one of the strongest power sets we've ever fucking seen in Star Wars. We always heard how
at
powerful.
Least the Disney canon.
Yeah, well, yeah,
make that
fair enough.
The Disney canon.
Yeah. Well, not only that, like in the prequels, like we always heard how powerful Anakin was, but we never quite saw it. Yeah. Here we've already seen that Kylo Ren could do some shit, but where Cassius's biggest misgivings with the movies is the inconsistency of Kylo's power set, but I think Kylo was very conflicted with his emotions. There was light in him, so much that he had to talk himself down and give himself pep talks to a dead fucking helmet and kind of talk him off the ledge of going back to the light side. He's very conflicted.
Do you think, do you think that has an effect on him being able to stop himself from taking an injury, like a mortal injury?
What
like,
do you mean?
He killed his father.
Yes.
And then Chewie shot him. You think that his confliction inside would affect his ability to want to survive not take a fucking laser bolt to the stomach.
In any other situation, you would be right, but when it's the most powerful situation in your life, it's you killing your father, no matter how badass he's trying to be, that's a powerful moment for you regardless. Your mind's going to be a bit conflicted where you're not as well in the dark side or the Force. You're distracted. You got some other shit going on. You just impaled your daddy.
Even if that was a perspective that I was willing to adopt, that once again goes back to my point of there being just too much ambiguity. You know what I mean? It's just too ambiguous to, you can say, well, he was conflicted, that's why he couldn't stop it, or this, that, and other. No, it was a plot device. They needed him to be wounded so it didn't look so bad when Rey whooped his ass at the end.
Fair enough.
Okay, they needed to have him injured because if he was not injured, there's definitely no reason why she had a chance to win.
Well, if we get to that battle, that's where me and you are going to see eye to eye. That's one of my biggest complaints in the movie is that there's the lamest lightsaber battle of all time, one of the lamest battles of all time.
And then also another problem I have with it is we already know in episode 9, correct, that in order for this movie to end and the good guys to win, Kylo has to lose, right?
Yeah.
We just watched him get his ass whooped. What do we have to look forward to now? He's already lost. He needs to have his training complete. And like I said,
with that logic, we should have ended the prequels episode 2. Because they're both Padawans. They both got fucked up. They both lost.
They should have found another way to, just like they didn't put Luke in this movie, they should have found a way to work around that final battle scene. They didn't have to make Rey and Kylo face each other in that story. They could have had it some way where she ended up getting off the planet or whatever. Because I know a couple Star Wars fans, they thought at the end where they saw the lightsaber wiggling in the snow and then it flies through the air and it goes to Rey. A lot of people, including yourself, I think, thought it was going to be Luke standing there.
No.
You didn't think it was going to be Luke there?
Nope.
Okay, well,
I caught every goddamn plot twist in that movie. That's the one thing that kind of sucks for me. I know. I just felt that shit happened. Yeah.
Well, there was a couple other people. They thought that was going to be Luke, and I'm like, that would have been the worst move they could have made right there in that area and shit because Kylo would have died. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the end of the
It'd been awesome. It would have been kind of cool if it was Luke, and then he gives the line he did when he played Cockknocker in Jane and Silent Bob Strikes Back. His lightsaber flies to his hand. He goes, "Don't fuck with a Jedi Master, son." And they just start battling. That would have been dope. But that would have been retarded. That whole final battle scene really rubs me the wrong way, how dull and inconsistent it was. But to kind of counter your point, Luke lost at the end of Jedi. Anakin lost in Attack of the Clones. They both suffered a loss with their hands. He got a scar in the face.
Luke lost at the end of Jedi.
Or end of Empire, my bad.
Well, I'm saying, man.
He
fucked Vader up.
I got 2 beers and the dank in me right now, brother. I'm a little fucked up.
Like in the Return of the Jedi, he came back with a vengeance.
My bad. But this, you also got to remember, Kylo's a Padawan in many sense of the word. So this is his. That's also
Empire
another
thing, man. What else does his training need to be completed? This is why I was making a joke on that when they were like, he's going to complete his training. And I was like, yeah, all this means is that the next time we see him is that he's going to have Force lightning.
Right. But if you want to get the inconsistencies, look at fucking Luke getting trained by Yoda in a couple hours, and all of a sudden now you're a Jedi Knight. You know what I mean? So I think
that's another thing. That's the more ambiguity from Star Wars because
that's across
it only looks like a couple hours in the movie, but they try to play it up like it's longer than that.
Yeah,
you know
but it's not.
I mean?
But it's not. Though.
They try to play it up like it's longer than that, and it still took Luke 3 movies to develop to the point that he was, and he had massive training. He had massive guidance as opposed to Rey, who has had none.
What? Whoa.
The theory
Whoa.
He had Ben guidance.
He had 3 hours on a ship with Ben. He
still has
3 hours on a planet with Yoda.
And you're giving these like time durations. Like nobody, there's no nothing anywhere that says that there was 3 hours on the plane or whatever and shit. Who knows how long it took them to travel from whatever. I mean, it was still like one waking day or whatever and shit or whatever. But still,
I'll give you a week time.
You still have formal training, but we didn't see him use a Jedi mind trick though. He hit a bullseye. He hit a good shot. Mm-hmm. He believed in himself. He hit a good shot, and he had a little bit of guidance to get that. I'm with you on that being ambiguous and saying, okay, just because you had 3 hours worth of training, you're supposed to be better off than somebody who had no training. I mean, if I'm going to sit down and teach you how to play chess, and I teach you...
Who are you referring to here?
I'm talking about Luke, as compared to Rey.
Okay.
You know
I thought we were talking about... Yeah,
as compared to Rey. Like, Rey having no training and Luke only having 3 hours worth of training.
I thought we were going with Kylo. My bad. Once again, beer, smoke weed every day.
If Rey had 3 hours worth of training, I could deal with her being able... At least that you could... I wouldn't be able to deal with it. I would still talk shit about it, much like I would talk shit about Luke only having, you call it 3 hours. Say it was 24 hours. You only got 1 day of formal training, but all he did was hit a bullseye. He didn't go fight Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying?
He did after a couple hours with Yoda.
Well, like he learned from whatever he learned from Ben on that planet, and then in New Hope, and then they go to Empire Strikes Back, which is a significant time in the future, which they kind of make it known that he's been trying to practice the kind of things that he's going. And if you read the comics, that Disney's filling in the blanks. He's been getting Obi-Wan's teachings. He's got a journal from him. He's been learning all types of shit.
Is that Disney continuity?
This is Disney continuity. Okay. So he's been gaining knowledge in between these two movies so in between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, these comics are taking place, and he's getting knowledge as a Jedi. So when you see him in Empire Strikes Back, he's still got some training. Like, he doesn't have formal training, but he's at least been reading books.
Well, what about Rey? On the flip side of that, could further documents come out, or further stories, comic books, or even in the movie come back and justify her maybe later? Because one thing that gets me is when we meet Rey after she does the whole scavenger shit, when she goes back home and makes the bread, which was a badass scene. Let me tell you real quick. I really like that. Very simple effect. The bread magically popping up. That really brought me into the moment right there with the practical effect. Random to side note. But when we looked,
got me.
That got me. I like bread too. And that looks real.
Fuck the blaster bolt getting
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That instant bread, though.
That's the wave of the future. But you take a look around her house. She had dolls of Luke Skywalker and Rebel pilots made. She had a helmet, and she would just sit there and she fantasized about the rebellion and shit. So who's to say she didn't in the 70 years?
I feel like they should have just explained that in this movie instead of dragging it out.
Agreed.
Instead of dragging it out to episode 8. Like, if they were going to do all that background shit, they could have just dropped that. Like, even like I was telling a couple cats from the Talk Nerdy to Me group, like Brian and shit, I would have been happy with an extra 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They could have fleshed out so much in that story with just an extra 10 minutes. And one of the things that people didn't like was them. I don't know if they didn't like it or not, but I thought personally with Luke not just showing him at the end, I think they personally shouldn't even have revealed him at the end. They should have just waited for episode 8.
Well, I totally disagree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really crazy, and I really handicapped myself going into this movie. I will fully admit that I had a completely different expectation of what I thought this movie was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be a reboot. Like, if I'd have known that going in, I think I would have a different opinion. But I thought this was going to be a continuation.
Yeah.
You know, I expected it to be like a kind of a half-ass reboot board and shit. Mm-hmm. But I expected it to actually be a continuation of the story from Return of the Jedi. The continuation of the story is going to be episode 8.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude. You know, my first showing, when I walked out opening night, pre-opening night, because I saw the very first showing you could see and
dick
shit.
Face.
Yeah. I didn't give a fuck. Unemployed, still hustled up that movie. I'd suck dick to see that fucking movie if I had to. Shit was getting real. Blow a couple Jawas and shit. Oh, baby! Shit was real. I was seeing the goddamn Force Awakens. I had to sell some kids the fucking water.
He said unemployed, still saw that shit before all you bitches.
All you bitches. Didn't give a fuck. But when I walked out of the theater opening night, I had the same feels as you. I actually felt like I was maybe even a little bit more critical at first because of that very aspect. And if you listen to one of our older podcasts, one of my concerns, or yours, I think with both of ours, was this was going to be a New Hope revisited, frame for frame. And it almost felt that way at first. And George Lucas even criticized it in that regard. He was like, I always try to bring a new theme to each movie, new planets to each movie, new characters to each movie.
Races,
this one
species,
didn't have that.
Like
and I co-signed that, and that is a major complaint of mine. My final score for the movie, just to get to the end before I get to the beginning, is 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a damn good movie. It's probably like my 4th or 5th favorite Star Wars flick. It's not even in my top 3, but it's a damn good start. And like you said, probably the beginning of the best trilogy ever.
Right,
But one thing that got me later on, my second showing was when I watched it in 3D, and the 3D effects were so good, I was able to turn off my brain and turn off the expectations. And I think that's a lot of the shit I give prequel fans, or prequel haters, a lot of shit for, is that you had expectations for 20 years after you saw the original trilogy, what you thought this prequel was going to be. It wasn't what your little fanfic fucking fantasy in your head was.
Your mind was,
and you're being overcritical. And I felt like maybe I was too, but when I saw the 3D effects, it just pulled me into the point where my brain turned off. Expectations were gone. I was just enjoying the movie for what it was, and I walked out of it going, I thought I was going to come out even more critical, like this is going to be 5 out of 10.
That's what I mean. If you enjoy the movie for what it is,
it's great.
That's kind of what I did for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the reboot they did. I thought I was going to hate this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into it, I was like, I'm going to go into this with no expectations. I'm just going to watch the movie and take it for what it is. And I enjoyed it. It was a reboot that added, it took a different approach to the mythos.
Mm-hmm.
It added a little different flavor to it. So I gave it its due as a reboot, and I loved it. I didn't expect a reboot.
Yeah, but here's what gets me. Here's my biggest major point.
There was so much hype on Luke. You called it The Force Awakens. What was the number one thing I said to you before this movie?
You gotta be forced like a motherfucker.
It gotta be the Force like a motherfucker, man. If they want me to really endorse.
Well, they
this
started
movie
it. We see more done with the Force in this movie than we've done with any other movie. The blaster bolt, the mind pulling. So we're getting there. So we have the expectations.
I'll give you that.
And you don't want to blow your load in the first movie. You don't want to be pulling planets out. What are you gonna do for an encore?
I definitely get that. And like I said,
here's my big thing.
I don't hate the movie.
Yeah.
I just like when it comes to an analytical shit and you start asking me, when we start talking about rankings and you have to make arguments for and against it, that's when I start getting critical of it.
But here's my big thing to counter your reboot, and it's what made me rethink it. So kind of think it this way. It's out of the mouth of J.J. Abrams himself, a beautiful interview I read with him when he was answering criticisms to it being, every time, criticisms of it being a reboot, was saying, with this movie, we felt like we had to go backwards to go forwards to bring it back to people. And I really thought about it. We love the prequels, but what's popular consensus?
Oh, yeah.
The prequels suck. So I kind of, I actually think this was the most brilliant idea ever. That this movie's theme does have a theme. It's retro. It's reminding you what you love about the movie, and at the end, we're showing you that we're taking it to all new places. So this way, we can bring everybody that hated the fucking prequels back into the fold. Everybody that loved the prequels in the original trilogy back in the fold. We can unite these very divided Star Wars fan base into one by reminding you what you love about this shit, but also with the promise, new shit's coming in the future. Then I was like, you know what? I'm good with that because it's good for the brand as a whole. And I'm like, that's actually a really smart move. If it was an all-new, brand-new story, it wouldn't have resonated the way it did with fans. People walked out with the nostalgia.
You don't know that, though.
I think with Star Wars fans, it would have. Because we would have loved it no matter what. But for the mainstream audience or the people that hate the prequels originally.
That's what I'm saying. Disney cares about the mainstream because they want to make money.
Yeah.
At least me personally as a fan, I just want a good-ass movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a good-ass movie that everybody's going to like because everybody's not supposed to like every movie.
No, but I don't think that's
Make your movie and then let it speak for itself. Like, I felt like this movie was a bunch of pandering. Outside of the new developments you got with with Kylo, the flashbacks and all the theorizing and theoretical shit that's going on, trying to figure out why Luke ran away. Like, that was another thing, characterization-wise. Like, I know you'll take the side of, man, he just had all his students killed, post-traumatic stress, he ran off and shit. But I'm going to take the fucking, why didn't Luke fall to the dark side and shit? You know what I mean? Maybe that's the only reason. That's the only reason I can see he ran away, because he knew if he went after Kylo, he would fall to the dark side.
And I think you're 100% correct. And that's a wonderful idea to think about.
And I think that's the only reason that you can make that play out and shit, because there's no way that I see the Luke that I want to motherfucking see. I want to see a savage Luke Skywalker and shit, man. Like, I want to see a savage Superman and shit, man. And it so pains me when I'm not going to be able to get into that shit, man. But
I think the Star Wars franchise, regardless of what, because we love the prequels, but it was broken, this was the best way to remedy it. And I think as long as you keep that promise that you gave us, the 8 and 9 is going to be some brand new shit, and I really think it is. And I think that's why the ending to Force Awakens is so deep to me, because you've never seen anything like that in a Star Wars movie. Like, I was like, oh, this is a new territory. I'm like, where are they going with this? And the beautiful scenery of the island and her walking up, and then you see Luke and he takes off that shit and
he looks pissed.
Yeah. No, you see 15 emotions in his face at once.
Pissed, relieved,
scared, worried, sad. So
like, oh shit.
And then you end it with a promise of a brand new adventure.
Right.
You had me.
I wish they would have did that reveal, man. I think they should have just saved that and then added an extra 10 minutes to flesh out the details of this story, so there wasn't so much ambiguity and shit. Like they could get.
But are we looking at it as
got away with some? I'm just talking about it from a writing and how they put the story together and shit. Like,
I understand. A movie or a trilogy,
I understand the symbolic value of what The Force Awakens is supposed to be. Like, it's a bridge from the old shit, the prequels, into this new Disney universe that they want to create and go forward with. I understand. Like I said, it's not a horrible movie. Just the fact that it's a reboot, it's a decent reboot. You know what I mean? Other than the fact that they really didn't add anything new to it. I mean, you see that with the Star Killer thing. They go, what? It's just a bigger Death Star? How do we beat that? Well, can we just blow it up like the last one? Hey, great idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Go, sign
that's cheesy shit. That's basically what it was. Like, the whole movie was cheesy as fuck.
In a scene that wasn't even as good as the original. And that's what got me. The Star Killer scene was so boring. It was so dull. It was...
And then, like they said, and then Han Solo says one of the most critical lines that I thought that resonated with me throughout the entire movie, where he's like, that's not how the Force works. And then they flip to another scene where they do some shit that's how us fans are like, whoa, this ain't how the Force has worked in the past. How is the Force all of a sudden working like this now? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But real quick, because that's the movie as a whole, individualize it real quick. Finn, I liked him.
Yeah.
Poe.
I like the whole cast.
Yeah. Poe is the cast that character that I didn't give a fuck about, and Poe was amazing.
Yes.
Now, you guys need to look.
I heard he's getting his own series or something. I think they're taking it too far.
Comic book.
That's what I think they're going too far with that.
No, because he was so underutilized. Like, I wanted more Poe. Like, yeah. I felt like there was not enough Poe. I need more Poe and more cowbell, goddammit.
There's so many other stories to explore, though. Who gives a fuck about a fucking pilot?
Well, if you're gonna make him part of the new Trinity, you have to. You know what I mean?
Finn is the new fucking Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
According to fans, why don't they give him a series? Fuck Poe.
I'm with you on Finn too.
You know what I mean? Like, why don't they give Finn his own series? And I wouldn't read that shit either, just to be clear. You know what I mean?
Finn's backstory.
Because I don't give a fuck about Finn. I mean, I like his character, but I wouldn't.
His backstory would have been dull as shit.
Not enough to add his title to my reading list. Because I got an extensive reading list already, and I'm not even going to try to jump into some shit I don't even give a fuck about. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like a lot of Star Wars comics out, though. Just make that fucking clear. Like, the main Star Wars title is fucking Boss. The Vader title is Boss. They just now started that Obi-Wan and Anakin from the Clone Wars title and shit. I haven't got a chance to read the first issue of it, but that's in my list and shit. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Boss. You know what I mean? So I'm really digging the Disney Star Wars comic universe and shit so far.
We're actually handling the franchise as a whole really good. Here's one thing.
They're doing a really good business, man.
But let's shift off. One thing that kind of bugs me, and I haven't got a chance to talk to you. I'm not thrilled with their choices for anthology movies at all.
No, me neither.
Not at all.
I mean, I'm not excited about Rogue One. I'll go see it or whatever. Because I hear also Darth Vader's going to make an appearance.
That's the only draw.
And that's exactly what it is.
Only draw.
That's the only reason you're going to get people to the theaters is if you tie it to the main universe somehow. You know what I mean? So it's got to have something special in there. And
it's a very curious choice because you had Disney in the beginning going, we want to distance ourselves from the prequels as much. Be in their mindset.
I'm glad you said that.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I'm glad you said that.
So what are you going to do for the anthology movie? Well, 3 fucking prequels.
That's why I feel that way about Plagueis, man. Like, they say they wanted to distance themselves from the prequels and all this other shit. That's why I kind of feel like it'll be a step backwards. They want to use something from the prequels to push their shit forward. Mm-hmm. But they said that they wanted to shut down the EU because they wanted to do their own thing. And then they said they wanted to distance themselves from the prequels and want to do their own thing. Yet, by using Plagueis, they will be doing both of those things.
Yes. You know I'm pro Plagueis, so I mean I agree with you, but I want people.
And also on the whole Plagueis thing, like that's the only way that they can keep the Sith alive at this point. And
that's my theory. Yeah,
and that's retarded. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because according to the canon, if only thing we all know is established canon, the Sith is done and destroyed right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Darth Vader brought balance to the Force temporarily by extinguishing the Emperor, who in the old EU ended up coming back, making some ruckus for a little bit before he was finally dispatched once and for all. Mm-hmm. But at the end of this, the Emperor's gone, Darth Vader is dead, So there's no Sith, the rule of two. In the old EU, there were plenty of Sith around. You know what I mean? Even though there was the rule of two who were the main Sith, who were doing all the dastardly deeds throughout the galaxy, there were the lost Sith. You know, there were the old Sith. There were lost tribes of Sith. There was all types of dark users out here. Like the Sisters of Dathomir and shit like that. You know what I mean? That you see in the Clone Wars and shit. They're not Sith or...
Which I love, by the way.
Or Jedi. They're just dark side users and shit. You know what I mean? They're witches.
Inquisitors and what your what have
you know what I mean? So, like, I that's the type of shit. Like, those are the type of anthologies I want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Why can't we get a Darth Maul anthology? Like, bro, you know how fucking... I mean, but that's only the catering to Star
Old
Wars
Republic.
fans.
If you want to cater, give us an Old Republic movie.
But that's catering to us, though. That's catering to us. That's not mainstream.
Yeah,
they're not going to give a fuck about an old Knight.
That's why we got Boba Fett. Of all fucking
exactly.
things,
They're not going to do it. They're riding that mainstream pop culture shit.
Han Solo, same
Who
thing.
gives a fuck about goddamn Boba Fett? I mean, outside, if you take away the EU, then I 100% agree with everybody that says Boba Fett is worthless.
Worthless!
You know what I mean? Like, if you take away the EU, that's where I started to defend. I'm like, if you want to talk about movies, Boba Fett ain't shit.
Ain't shit.
Like, he had the whole shit set up for him. And if you read the comics now, he's doing a little bit in the comics where he found Luke, he couldn't catch him. He really ain't done shit. He's doing a little bit more involved in the movies, but... he really still ain't doing shit.
He looks sexy.
In the EU, he was boss though.
Oh,
he did all types of shit in the EU, like fighting Jedis, doing all types of crazy shit.
Yep. But in the goddamn trilogy, all he did was point his gun, and that was it.
I hope Phasma really doesn't do that. Phasma, the Chrome Stormtrooper or whatever.
I have theories about that one.
That was a terrible part of the movie as well and shit.
I think that might be Rey's mom, but that's a whole other theory for another day.
You think that?
Yeah.
Phasma?
Because why else would they really pound home? She's a super important character for the whole trilogy.
And why else would she drop the shield? Because they asked her nicely.
Yeah.
Remember that part?
Even crazier theory. So say she is. Why did Finn's mental conditioning not work? Because she recognized him.
Good point.
Because that's Lando Calrissian's son, and she recognized that's her baby dad.
Oh,
You
no.
know,
Good.
You don't think so?
I think that's a reach, but it's a good point about this. From the story that they gave us, he was put into a stormtrooper program, which trained him from birth to be a killer. Okay, why is his first assignment coming now, and why after all this lifetime conditioning was he able to resist that programming?
Right.
Like that's something also that needs to be explained.
Yeah.
Like that's a very, very good point.
And Captain
trained since birth to be a fucking killer, and when it comes time to kill, you have second thoughts, and then like you display no willingness to want to be a killer at all, despite a life of abuse to become a killer. You know what I mean?
And Captain Phasma was very defensive too when she was accused of his defection and his error. And Kylo Ren, that scene where he just turns and looks at him, is it because he sensed the good in him?
That's another thing. Yes. Why was he able to? That's another thing.
Because he knows it's Lando's son. I'm telling you.
Is it possible he could still be a Jedi? Because he sensed him for some reason. He sensed him out of everybody. Maybe it's a plot device.
He's Lando's son. I'm telling you. If you really think about homeboy Billy D just signed on to be on 8 and 9.
Yes, yep. But you also have to tie that back then. That means he knows Lando, which I guess is not too far.
Because you had to think.
He's Han's son.
He's sons. Yeah, they probably.
That
was probably Uncle Lando. Yo, it's Unc. Unc comes in the house with gifts and shit. You know what I mean? Everybody loves Unc.
Trying to be pimping, hitting on your mom and shit.
And if Captain Phasma, and my crazy theory that Luke is the father to Rey, Captain Phasma would be the baby mama. So of course the baby mama would know Luke's friends and would know Lando.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And once again, that's biting EU.
What's that?
Other than the fact that Mara was a Jedi.
Yeah.
She's still a dark side or shit, but that would make a lot of sense.
This is Disney Mara Jade. You know what I'm saying?
God damn, you might have done it again, Sensei.
I'm telling you.
You might have done it again.
But then again, I have a 0 batting average because I come up with the bestest theories.
And then
they're
they
always wrong. It's the times where I make...
That's why we need to be making these movies ourselves, bro. That's why we need to be making...
We got good ideas.
I really 100% believe that you could have made a better Force Awakens, bro. I could have made a better Force Awakens. We could have got together with the Talk Nerd to Me crew, and we could have made a way better Force Awakens.
Let me underline my point real quick, and I seem like I'm coming down on you, because I agree with 98% of your criticisms, and I also think it was a flawed movie. I agree. I hold it with Phantom Menace, where I think it's a very good movie. I don't think it's a very great movie. You fucked up on a lot of things. One thing I got really excited about when JJ really fucked with me, master of secrecy, but especially with this new Cloverfield.
Been to Comic-Con, hope you speak my language. Your Harley Quinn don't need explaining. All I really need for you to do is just please talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
But if for some reason they pull it out and try to make the fan bases, like they try to make this movie get more attention by making Superman lose, you know, because that'll be what everybody's talking about. Like, oh man, Superman got his ass whooped. That'll be the new go-to point for every fucking Batman fanboy in the world. And I don't want to have to deal with it. I just don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah. because
I'm going to have to explain it like, look, man, look. You know Hollywood.
But you won't be able to, because this is the definitive answer. Because this will be what all fans now go to, because they made a movie around the biggest comic book debate of all time. And they took the biggest comic book debate of all time and made it a movie. This is now the gospel. This is Jesus fucking Zack Snyder.
Jeff Johns is involved in this a little bit, right?
He's involved in all these.
Because this is kind of how Justice League Origins started off a little bit. And if it goes like that, I'll be happy.
Yeah. All day.
I'll be happy as fuck.
But Zack Snyder is now Jesus Christ giving us a testament of Batman versus Superman, and whatever the outcome is, this is going to be the gospel truth. So if Superman wins, as a Batman fan, I'll concede Superman won. But if Batman won, you're never going to hear the end of it. And be prepared, bitch. Because this is the gospel.
Too bad for you.
Yeah.
My fault you on the wrong side of history.
Nothing short of the Batman and Superman creators coming out of the grave and fighting themselves will we get a more definitive answer of who is better, Batman or Superman. So this is it. This is the gospel, son. Ugh. Great times to be living in. Great times,
man. 2016 is so beautiful right now, man.
You know, minus half the planet dying right now that you know we like. You know, we get past that.
I mean, strictly from an aesthetic movie point of view, man.
Stripping it down to the most superficial
projects. Like there's a couple Superman projects I'm geeked for comic wise. They got the Coming of the Superman coming out.
Real quick, the First Blood, I think, of 2016 what really kicks us off is Legends of Tomorrow. I think that's the First Blood. That's First Blood. And I am more excited about that.
I'm excited about that. I'm really interested to see how they do this time travel thing, because you know I'm a real big time travel critic and shit, man. So I'm looking at that real closely. But I think this show is going to blow it out the park. Another thing I'm really anxious to get to see is the new Firestorm, like, because I really like I like the Jax guy or whatever. I like that dynamic they have and shit. So I'm really geeked to see that dynamic.
Love the actor, love the look. You know what I mean? On the flip side of you, on the nerd coin, my biggest favorite nerd things. Superheroes and time travel. You put that shit together in the same movie, I'll fucking blow and come everywhere.
Well, it's just like it's the time travel, man. This is the whole thing. It's all about how you do it, and these are the two ways that I think I majorly break it down for. When you start with a time travel story that involves you coming from the future into the past to stop something, that's where the time travel fuckery starts. Mm-hmm. I think time travel is way better. Time travel stories are way better when it starts from somebody coming from a present time, going into the past, you know, fucking up the past, and then coming back to a fucked up future. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you go back, you create the paradox, you come back like, oh shit, I gotta go back and fix all that shit. I think that's a much better format of time travel type shit. But when you come from hey, I just came from 20 years in the future, Vandal Savage just fucked everything up, I gotta come back here and stop it. As soon as you do that, you create a paradox.
The great grandfather paradox.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, you create a paradox and shit. Exactly.
And I have ways to explain it, which is just dumb.
Oh, we know. I know all the ways that you go, because you go. It creates a different timeline. That timeline still exists, that or whatever, and we can argue back and forth all day about whether or not that's true. But that's just fanboy ambiguity.
You're absolutely right.
That's just a fan explaining the shit in their own head, because logically we don't have no other way to explain it. So that doesn't mean that I'm right, you know what I mean? Just like it doesn't mean like you're like, oh, well, you know, they created a different timeline. That timeline still exists. They do this or whatever. And now that's how the multiverse exists. Because now we got that universe where Vandal Savage took everything over and fucked shit up. Then Rip Hunter came back, who is basically Booster Gold, but they can't use Booster Gold because of the stupid fucking embargoes that fucking DC has in place on shit to fix it or whatever shit. So...
I'm feeling Rip Hunter. And I'm
not mad at Rip Hunter, but it would be Booster Gold, though.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, everybody would rather have Booster Gold and Blue Beetle be involved in this story.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Maybe they'll show up in a future timeline and shit, but I doubt it because DC's dumb and they have this embargo shit. Like they need to start sucking Marvel's dick on some.
They're getting better with it. They're getting better with it, and I think that may be something we see in season 2 because it's supposed to be an anthology show with a new cast each season. So
there's also rumors that that's not even going to come to fruition.
I know.
I mean.
I disagree.
I don't disagree or agree.
There's the rumors that CW's going to cancel because it costs too much money to make, and I think that's bullshit. I really do.
Yeah, well,
movie pilot, dumb shit. Fuck a movie pilot. That's what I think. Movie pilot shit.
Yeah, fuck movie pilot. But I wouldn't be surprised if they felt that way because I mean, how much money can they really? There has to be a ceiling for how much money they can make with these shows. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. But I think people are just assuming that it costs so much. But I think they probably do a lot of cost fucking effective maneuvers and fucking tomfuckery to make this movie happen.
Plus, with all those different heroes, you have to imagine how this special effects bill does have to be fucking goddamn monumentous.
A little bit high, but really. It's only so much.
You got the Atom who's got to shrink and do all that shit. You got Firestorm, do all that shit.
But the rest is simple shit.
Then you got Captain Cold, fucking.
That's just a blue light beam. That ain't too much.
I mean, but if they start trying to do some elaborate shit with it, and then you got the time travel effects, you got the Wave Rider thing or whatever and shit. So I mean,
I'll wrap it up in just a couple minutes. I got a little man coming home. I got to take him to Mama's. Colt's on his way.
Cool. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry, Link just found something majorly important in my house. My bad, guys. Fucking Link. God damn it. We good? Not good.
This motherfucker.
This motherfucker here. Says the guy that was playing chess in the middle of the goddamn podcast.
I'm not playing chess at all, I promise.
Miss me with that bullshit.
I was checking in my messages. But, nah, real talk, though. What the fuck was I just talking about?
Oh, no gangster ass shit, probably.
I mean, yeah, I try not to be too gangster and shit because it gets me a bad rap, man.
It's true.
It gets me a bad rap.
Notoriously numb.
And plus, you know what I mean? Fuck the police. So.
There it is. FTV.
And I know a couple good cops, too. Just don't want to make that clear. But fuck them anyway.
Fuck them anyway. I had a cop DJ at my wedding. Ever tell you that?
A cop DJ?
Yeah, DJ at my wedding.
That is definitely very
He used to arrest me a lot in high school, so we got to know each other a lot. And then I found out he DJ'd. I was like, how epic would it be if I had my former arresting officer be the
awesome.
Be the fucking DJ
so
at my
he's your
wedding.
Friend? He arrested you?
He arrested me a lot.
If one of my friends arrested
No, we weren't friends.
The friendship is over.
No, we weren't friends. I got to know him by getting arrested.
By getting arrested.
I was a reoccurring vandal.
If you're my friend and you're a cop and you arrest me, our friendship is over.
We done. Yeah.
You at least give me a 24-hour head start.
But he was cool on other occasions. Like, he saw me walking one day, and he's like, where are you walking? And I was like, walking home. He's like, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got to pat you down. And I was like, ugh. He's like, just getting it back anyway. I was like, all right, cool. Because I had some weed on me, you know what I'm saying? So he was a cool cat, and he's a DJ. It's a cool little random story. 30 minutes late to my wedding, or reception, though. That's probably the reason why my wedding failed, because I had a cop DJ. Son of a bitch fucking jinxed me.
That's retarded. But anyway, we do need to go ahead and conclude this anyway. This fucking debacle of a fucking podcast.
What the fuck?
Can't have it no other way with some shitheads like us running it. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't like I'm an engineer or anything, production crew or something.
Think about the concept. Our concept of our podcast is to smoke weed and drink beers and then wonder why everything goes to shit halfway through the fucking podcast. We can't stay on topic. Shit's fucking up. We're having trouble with triples.
Right.
It's a madhouse.
Goddamn, man. It sucks to be fucking idiots sometimes, but you know what?
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Brilliant idiots, man.
Brilliant idiots.
Brilliant idiots.
We are the dumbest smart people you will ever meet, is the way I like to think of it. Like, we are the dumbest, intelligent
genius
retards.
retards.
Yes. Idiot savants, if you will.
Ah, yes. I like Savant, man. That should be my new rap name. AKA Savant.
I'm the most gangster. I got so stoned one day, I came up with the most gangster name for you. My name's White Boy, right? WYTEBOI, you know what I'm saying? If we started a group, you know what yours should be?
You still owe me verses, man.
I want to get you something.
You owe me verses. I got friends all over this place. All y'all owe me verses, man.
I got you. Let's really do this shit, but that's for some other time. But no, your name should be Token Black, but Token spelled like you're token weed. Tell me that shit ain't tight. White Boy and Token Black? Come on, son! That's $1 million fucking group right there. Car sells fucking like yin yang or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Token Black and White Boy on stage for the first time. Woo! Ladies, throw them panties.
So unpolitically correct. Our first album will be called Secret Origins and shit. It'd be gangster.
Yes.
Our group should be World Science. We're coming up with our whole rap career. This is gonna be legendary. This podcast is be where it all began. Like if some
a bunch of bullshit in the beginning, some Star Wars fucking talking in the end, and then a bunch of real shit at the end.
I can't. Woo. Let me tell you, we can fuck up any other podcasters out there that try to do it. We're the realest podcasters out there.
I almost feel like we could fuck up a wet dream right now. I almost feel like that. Like that. That's the kind of engineering day that I had.
Motherfuckers is wildin'. The square root of this apartment.
It was a good time though, man. Much love, man.
Definitely, I had fun.
Love every time I get together with you, man.
Absolutely, buddy.
Gotta make that shit more consistent. You know, we could actually fucking do this fucking for real if it was consistent. Hey, you know, we might be able to do like a phone thing or a Skype thing or some shit.
Something like holidays are done now. You know,
we can really put something together. You know
I had holidays and other existential drama hit all at once. You know what I mean? And now we got that all out of the way. I think we're good. I really do.
Real quick, I hope everyone's having an awesome 2016. My 2016 is kind of mediocre, but it's looking up for your mans. You know what I mean? Keep your fingers crossed. You know that things are going to be on the up and up here soon.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? And my dude Rob, he's living the dream. You know what I mean? Unemployed, fucking doing it up, balling still, balling. You know what I mean? Running for president and shit. Like, I mean, what else can you say about this dude? You know what I mean? Like, he does it all. Does it all.
Sorry, getting built the kids. But yeah, 2016 is a big year for me. Like he said, I'm running for president and shit. What my kind of goal is with that, I want to have the integrity of Blinken and the sexual appetite of JFK and Monica Lewinsky. So that's what I'm going to bring to the table when it comes to being the president and shit. I ain't going to deny shit, and I definitely ain't going to be leaving those stains anywhere because my bitches don't spit shit out. You know what I mean? You're swallowing that shit. That's where Clinton fucked up. You know what I mean? You pick the one fat bitch in the world that doesn't fucking swallow nut. And that almost fucking cost you the presidency. I ain't going to fuck up there, America. The fat bitches that are sucking me off are going to swallow.
That's the moral of that story.
Yes. The one fat bitch that doesn't swallow, for God's sakes. God damn it, he fucked up.
You want to plug anything? Get that shit out of the way.
I'm gonna some pussy. But yeah. Now, I do got some big shit popping. We rebranded a new DCCU, a joint venture between me and the DC Extended Universe. DC Extended Universe fan page on Facebook. We're about to top 800,000 fans. I run it with a buddy of mine. I don't run it. I'm just his admin. But the biggest page I'm on was the joint venture with me and our page, Superman versus Batman, which we just broke 135,000 followers, I do believe. Yeah. We made a new page called DC TV Universe, or DC Television Universe, rather. It's going to cover mostly the Arrowverse, for what I'm gathering. We're really just we don't want to call it Arrowverse because we feel like we pigeonholed ourselves, like especially when Arrows might end in a couple years.
Oh yeah, definitely only a 5-season show. For
me. Exactly. The longevity of the name I thought would be better with DC Television Universe, but we're mostly covering the Arrowverse.
It stays established. We're pretty certain the DC TV Universe
is going to be around. Yeah,
shit for a while.
Because we got Flash starting out, we got that Supergirl starting out, and they're kind of in a shared universe, so we're going to be covering mostly those shows. Hopefully, Legends of Tomorrow come back. Well, check us out.
Crossover. That's how you keep all this shit alive.
Yeah. So, Superman vs. Batman, DC Television Universe, DC Extended Universe, Star Wars Saga, bitches. Those are my pages. Check them out.
Yeah, and if I had a mic drop effect, I would do it right now, but I don't have one, so you just have to imagine sexy-ass motherfucker on stage with panties all around them and all shit. Around them. And no CD receipts, you know what I mean? Like, nobody buying my records or nothing. But panties, I'll take panties, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Token Black.
Yeah, Token Black, white boy.
Mixtape Others That Fire. Plug. That's what I want to plug, is a mixtape, goddammit. God Secret Origins, look out for it. 2016, bitches.
Gotta be stupid as fuck for this shit.
Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or read? What kind of class do you play, girl? In an RPG? Cause I know what them elf girls need. From WoW to Emmy, I'm going 30 hours online straight now.